This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, all the doctors and nurses out there. So once again, we are here on Teach You Academy, where we have brought another session of reading with all of you. As I told you even earlier, that during the last session of ours, we discussed reading part A, and today we'll discuss reading part B. So in today's session, we have taken help of a sample question paper from the OET official website, and we highly acknowledge the efforts of the OET team that they equip us with so much of material on their official website. And I humbly thank OET for enhancing us with so much of knowledge through their website. So, ladies and gentlemen, we know that OET reading question paper comprises of three subtests, which are OET reading part A, reading part B, and reading part C. The reading part A comprises of 20 marks, and we ensured you that on the last turn, if you would follow our technologies of solving a reading part A, you would be able to achieve at least 18 marks out of 20 marks. And no wonder if you achieve 20 marks as well. The reading part B is also of 6 marks, and it is also not that tough. So the easiest part is reading part A, but here you have lesser time, but through our tricks and techniques, you would be able to solve all these 20 questions, or I should say at least 18 questions in reading part A, if you follow the lectures that I have told you in the previous classes. In reading part B, you would be able to achieve a minimum of 5 marks if you follow the rules and guidelines that I'm going to give you today on this platform that is about reading part B. Reading part C comprises of 16 marks, and we'll talk about reading part C in our coming sessions. So during the last session, I let you know a strategy to solve reading part A by using Manuj's mantra, which was Greek. Let us just recapitulate as to what this Greek is all about. So Greek stood for gliding, rushing, escalating, examining, and for and keywords. So in reading part B, we have 6 questions, and for every question, there is one text given. So you have 6 questions and you have 6 texts that follow those questions, and you have 3 options for every question. So you could be able to solve these questions with the help of texts. We'll see how we would be able to do this. So in reading part B, we have to be very, very efficient with our time, because this section is time consuming, and despite of taking so much of time, it gives us only 6 marks. I mean 6 points. The marks are individually divided for each question. It is only of 6 questions. Now for today's session, the trick and the technique that we have to follow for solving reading part B is another Manuj's mantra, which is a mnemonic called as quote. Now let us see what this quote stands for. Here Q stands for questions. So what you have to do is that first you read the question, and in the question you underline the keyword as to what the question is basically asking you. Secondly, after reading the question, you underline the keyword. The third O comes for option. Now you immediately go towards the options given for every question. So you have a question and you have 3 options followed by that question, following that question. So what you have to do is that first you read the question, you underline the keyword given in the question, and then you come up with the options. After reading all the 3 options, you come to the text now. Come to the text, read the text and examine with reference to the text if your options are correct, and start negating the options. Suppose you are reading the text and you have already read your options. Now if you think that this option is wrong with reference to the text. So just cross that option. Now you have only two options left to make a choice out of them. So let us revise our trick for reading part B, the Manuj mantra, which goes on like quote. And this quote is Q standing for the question. Read the question, then underline the keyword given in the question. Later, what you have to do is that read the options. And after reading the options, you go on with the texts. Go on with the text. And after reading the text, you negate your options as to which option is correct. Finally, you would be left with the correct option. So, here is the synopsis of our trick. Quote, question, underline the keyword, then option, text, and examine the options and try to negate your options as to whichsoever option is wrong. Now we will try to see if our trick and this strategy of ours work with respect to the OET actual paper. Does it work or not? So for this, we will visit a sample paper of official OET. So here on your screens, I have taken sample paper of OET, and let us come to the part B of this question paper. So reading part B. Here, let us come for the first question. Now let us read the question first. Our trick was quote, and quote stands for question, underline the keyword, then option, then text, and then examine the options. So let us first read our question. The question is, this guideline extract says that the nurse in charge. So the question is that what should the nurse in charge do? So our keyword is so our question is that what should the nurse in charge do? Now let us read the options. Must supervise the opening of the controlled drug cupboard. So now here we have a word which is must. So must means that it is necessary to be done by the nurse in charge to supervise the opening of the drug cupboard. The second option is that the nurse in charge should make sure that all ward cupboard keys are kept together. This means that all the keys of the cupboard are kept together. The third option is can delegate responsibility for the cupboard keys to another ward. Now let us read our text. The text goes on. The keys for the controlled drug cupboard are the responsibility of the nurse in charge. They may be passed to a registered nurse in order for them to carry out their duties and return to the nurse in charge. If the keys of the controlled drug cupboard go missing, the locks must be changed and pharmacy informed and an incident form completed. The controlled drug cupboard keys should be kept separately. So now option 2 goes wrong because our text is saying that the cupboard keys should be kept separately, and option B is saying that the keys should be kept together. So option B is wrong. Now we are left with option A and option C. Now let us go on reading this text further. Apart from in exceptional circumstances, the keys should not leave the ward or department. They are saying that the keys should not leave the ward, but if necessary, the nurse in charge should arrange for the keys to be held in a neighboring ward. So our option C goes correct. The nurse in charge can delegate the responsibility for the cupboard keys to a neighboring ward. So option C is correct. Throughout the text, it is nowhere given that nurse in charge should supervise the opening of the controlled drug cupboard. So option B was wrong, option A is not given, and option C was given in the text. So option C is correct. So ladies and gentlemen, question number 1 solved with full marks. Let us come to question number 2 now. Question number 2, and following our same strategy, the quote technique. First, let us read the question. When seeking consent for a post-mortem examination, it is necessary. So here, somebody has to seek consent that whether post-mortem should be done or not. So what should be done while seeking the consent? Options are: a valid reason should be given to conduct the post-mortem. Allow all relatives the opportunity to decline it. So option A is saying that you have to give a reason that why are you conducting this post-mortem. Option B is that all relatives should be given an opportunity to decline the post-mortem. And third option is the that the subject should be raised only after the death has occurred. Now let us read our text. The text is: a senior member of the clinical team, preferably the consultant in charge of the care, should raise the possibility of a post-mortem examination with the most appropriate person to give consent. So the person consenting will need an explanation. So what is given here? The person consenting needs an explanation. So while seeking consent, you have to give a valid reason. So option A is correct. We have found our answer. Without wasting much time, let us now rush to question number 3. Question number 3. Let us read what question number 3 is saying. Let us read the question. The purpose of these notes about an incinerator is to help maximize its efficiency, give guidance on safety, recommend a procedure for waste separation. So let us read our text. Materials with high fuel values, such as plastic, paper, card, and dry textile, will maintain high incineration temperature. If possible, a good mix of waste materials should be added with each batch. A good mix of waste materials should be added to each batch. This can best be achieved by having the various types of waste material loaded into separate bags. So here we have given how to various types of waste material loaded into separate bags at source, that is wards and laboratories, and clearly labeled. It is not recommended that the operator sorts and mixes waste prior to incineration. So option number 3 goes wrong here, because it is not recommended that the operator sorts and mixes, and the option is saying recommend the procedure for waste separation. So option number C is wrong. Now let us read further. As this is potential hazardous, if possible, some plastic material should be added with each batch of waste, as this burns at high temperature. However, care and judgment will be needed, as too much plastic will create dense dark smoke. So here safety instructions are also not given, that what should be done and what shouldn't, but how the efficiency of an incinerator can be maximized, it is given here, that what should you do. You should have a good mix of waste materials, and you should not sort and mix the plastic material on yourself, because it is harmful. So safety procedures are not given, that what should you do to avoid accidents. In the entire text, it is not given here, but in the entire text, they are only giving you terms and phrases that would help you maximize the efficiency of the incinerator. This was a bit complex question, but giving it some time, you would be able to come up with the right answer. And right answer could only be achieved if you know as to what wrong options are. Once you identify the wrong answers, ultimately you would come up with the right answer. So this is how this pedagogy works, how this strategy of solving reading part B works. Now I have solved 3 questions in front of you. I rest more questions for you to solve. And before concluding today's session, I would once again explain you the Manus mantra also, which is quote. And this is what we did while solving our questions. What we did is that first we read the question, that then we tried to come up as to what this question is asking us by identifying the keywords in the questions. Then what we did is that we come up with the options, we read the options, then we read the text, and then finally what we did is that we neglected our options. We came to know as to which options are wrong and which options are correct. And thus finally we came up with the correct option. So I hope that using these strategies and pedagogies of learning, you would be able to achieve at least 5 marks in reading part B also. As I told you that after attending our session of reading part A, you would be able to achieve a minimum of 18 marks out of 20 marks in reading part A. Listen to me very carefully. When I speak of marks, it does not mean that the weightage of the questions. I speak about the number of questions that you would be able to solve out of the total number of questions out of it. So if you apply these tricks and techniques that we give you here regarding reading part A, B, and in further days to come, we would be letting you know the tricks and strategies on how to solve reading part C also, you would be able to achieve a grade B in your OET examination. So with this notion, I wind up today's session. You go on practicing. If you observe any obstacles in solving reading part A and B, kindly let us know by just posting us a mail on our mail ID. We would be able to help you up with queries and questions. So Susan has asked me a question that some experts say that first text then options. See, Susan, if you will read the text first and then you will read the options, then again you will have to come up to the text. So why waste time again and again? If you read the text and then you read the options, then again you will have to read the text. So first read the options and then read the text. That is better. And with the help of the text, see, when you read the options first, you would be able to have only 3 points in your brain about the 3 options. And while you are reading your text, you would be able to identify that no, this was not given here. This option is wrong. There it was said recommended. Here they are saying not recommended. For example, I'll show you how. See here. Please everybody see here. Here it is given in option recommend a procedure for waste separation. Now they are saying that please recommend a procedure for waste separation. But in the text here, see, I'm underlining it. It is not recommended that the operator sorts and mixes waste. So when we read the option then we read the text, we came to a conclusion that this option was wrong. For example, in this question also, you can see over here, upwards we solve one question given over here. You can take a glance at it and then you will be able to know that why I'm saying you that first read the options and then read the text. Question number 1, which said that the nurse in charge should make sure that all the keys should be kept together. Option B, please see, all the keys should be kept together. But in our text, it is saying that the cupboard keys should be kept separately. Did you see? Separately here. From the main body of keys. Yeah, I know you agreed. Finally, you agree with us because at Teacher Academy, we make so much of research together. The faculty at Teacher Academy make so much of research, and then we come up with you with these tricks and strategies, and we have gone through these, and then only we come to know. For example, if you have to go from London to Liverpool and you know which way is better, then only you would be able to tell somebody else that go by this route, go by this way, and you would be able to reach your destination in the minimum of the time and comfortably, because you have gone through it. So we at Teacher Academy, we have gone through these things, and we come up with so much of researches and so much of background work that we have already done. So I hope with these tricks and techniques that we have given you with respect to reading part A and reading part B, you would be able to qualify your reading section fully and completely. Thank you very much. With this notion, I wind up today's session. Queries are invited. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manuj Sir, for the useful information and the techniques. And guys, if you have any queries, you can just always mail us on our Gmail uh, ID, which is by the same name, teacheracademy@gmail.com. And if you guys are interested in writing and speaking sessions, you can always visit our website with the name Teacher Academy. And guys, this is just a request. Please, if you want to book your sessions, please book in advance. What people do is they book the sessions on the same week of their test, so it's get difficult to give a slot for the speaking and writing. So I would request everyone to, if you are interested, just book in advance. And Nima is asking, thank you. Okay, so Nima, all the information, all the our previous session are on YouTube. So if you want to visit our YouTube channel, just type Teacher Academy on YouTube, and you can see our all our previous session, and you can watch all sessions there. So even this session, I will upload on YouTube as soon as possible. So thank you guys for joining us today. And if you guys have any queries, just mail us on teachacademy@gmail.com. So all the
Can I
best.
ask a question,
And
please?
with this notion, we are winding up today. Thank you, guys.
Can I ask a question, please? Hello? Hello?